Well, hello, and welcome back to that thing we like to call Curless Mania, where we talk all things pop, rock, and prog. And man, this has been a hell of a week for me because, man, I've had some cool guests, and it just continuing. It's continuing. So my excitement level is like through the roof. So I'm so excited to have Lewis Nasser on my channel. Lewis, how are you today, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm very privileged to be here. Thank you for the invite. I think we're gonna have fun. It's
Oh God,
awesome.
yeah. We're definitely gonna have fun. We're definitely
Yeah.
gonna have fun. I've watched you in the prog seat for a long time. And this topic struck me for you because you've said that you were in a band at one time that played ELP.
Yes, I was for
Yes.
3 or 4 years in a Chicago band called Fanfare, and it was a project created by a keyboard wizard. There's no other way to call him, Brian Harris.
Hmm.
That dude was in a Genesis tribute first called Grand Parade. He could
Nice.
do all the Tony Banks stuff,
Oh
and then
God.
his ambition was to do the ELP. And what I told him was, I would love to be a part of it, but I didn't necessarily want to play the bass lines like Greg Lake because I felt like he was always just kind of copying Keith's left hand, but simplifying because he had to sing.
Right.
And I wondered, what would it be like if I could actually just lay down a bass line, like based on of course the composition, but then like really play with the drums, you know? So
Yeah. Yeah.
and we had a guitar player so that whenever there was time for guitar, there would be an actual guitar player. So we weren't trying to do a trio. We were just trying to do the music justice.
Right.
And it was amazing. So it was a lot of fun. And as with those things, they don't last and we never really got a chance to tour, but we did play a couple of festivals and lots of local gigs and people really, really dug it. I remember we played Rossfest one year
Yep.
at the after party, one of these, and this lady, I don't know, I don't remember her name, but she was apparently the president or the head honcho of the ELP Fan Society of the United States.
Hmm.
And I remember that before we got on, she came up to me and she looked at me and she very menacingly said, "You better not fuck this up." And I was like, listen to us play, and only then am I gonna take any shit from you. Until
Right.
then,
Right.
fuck up.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And after that, she was actually very emotional and she wanted to take it all back. Whatever. We did a good job, so she was happy.
Wow. Wow.
We there are a couple of videos floating around on YouTube. I will send you the links later. We played, for example, the entirety of all the difficult stuff. We didn't play the hits. Like we
Right.
did all the
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was fun. It was fun while it lasted. I loved it. And
Yeah.
I learned a ton. So before we get into it, I just want to say individually, I never met Keith Emerson,
Hmm.
but I am good friends with a guy who was his last tech, Andre Cholmondley. Andre, if you're watching, love you, man. And I received just from learning and studying the sheet music an incredible musical education from Keith Emerson. If I had a chance to meet him, I would just shake his hand, hug him, tell him to not listen to any of the fucking Poindexters online, and just to know exactly the giant that he was, and that I thanked him from the bottom of my heart because he really made me a better musician and a better person just by studying his music. So I everything we're going to talk about today comes from that place of gratitude. Really, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though like I said, I had no contact with him. The only member of ELP I ever met was Carl Palmer. That's because one of my bands, Might Could, opened for them at Reggie's. And,
Okay.
and let's just say that Carl was not having a good day. He,
Okay.
he was not being congenial, and he inadvertently told the guy who was paying his salary to shut the fuck up.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah. So he was just not having a good day. I'm not trash talking Carl, but I don't have any other connection to the band is all I'm saying.
Right.
I
Right.
just the music, right? So
Just
first and foremost, I'm a fan.
yes.
That's where I'm coming from. So from a place of gratitude, and I am a true fan. So
Yeah. I thought that was so cool that you said you learned so much from learning the ELP stuff.
Oh yes, I mean Keith Emerson's harmonic concepts were very advanced,
Yeah.
and I just loved how he thought. I mean, when you get immersed in how he thought about the music, wow, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
So
that's a guy that's got all the wheels are turning, and he's just a monster musician. I mean, he's also just a
yeah, and that's what was so sad about his suicide is that, he developed this impediment, but dude, like you're fucking Keith Emerson.
yeah,
What do you care what these guys who can't fucking play a kazoo have to say about you?
right, right.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's like, I mean, depression, all these things are very serious, and unfortunately, we lost him. But
yeah,
um, I just wish I don't know that I would have. I'm not saying I would have made a difference. I just wish I had had an opportunity to thank him personally, because he
yeah,
truly, truly changed my life for the better.
yeah.
Without him knowing, I'm just another schmuck in a list of thousands, right? But
Right, right, right,
um, I
right.
really am grateful to him for everything he gave me. He gave me a lot.
Yeah.
So, you
Yeah,
know.
no, that's very heartfelt. I love it. And you know what? It was very, very sad to hear about Keith Emerson's passing. And I did hear rumors that it was partly like he was getting a little bit bullied at the time, that people were saying he wasn't what he used to be. And
Yes,
that's brutal, man. That's brutal.
they did that big festival in London, the high voltage or whatever it was called, and you could see his hand was kind of cramping up on him, his right
Right,
hand.
right. Yeah,
Um, and I don't think people understand that Keith Emerson with 6 or 7 fingers was better than most people with 10.
exactly, exactly. Yeah,
And the other part, of course, is we were denied his further work, like the Keith Emerson band with Hector Bonilla and those guys, incredible. And his
right.
compositions, like he had it in him. So this is why this topic is also important because we'll get to it, but
Yeah, we'll get there. So here we go. So what we're doing today is in a long roundabout way. I do this all the time. We start getting into a conversation. What we're doing today is I brought up this topic. I was telling Lewis before we started taping that I was listening to ELP. I was on this ELP kick, and I was listening to every album just in order. And I was like, man, that first, because I just did a video with Pete about Jethro Tull's run. ELP also had a run in the early '70s that was freaking awesome.
yes.
um Friggin' unbelievable. And just that first run is just almost flawless. And then their career kind of went sideways a little bit, and I have some, and I'm kind of like, why is that? I kind of like wonder, like, why, what happened. I think there were, and I have many theories as to why that occurred. And so what we're going to do is, first we're going to do this. What we're going to do is run through the quick run that we just think the run is just fantastic. So starting with the debut, what do you think of the debut?
It's a near perfect album.
Yeah.
It's one hell of a first record. It's a tall order to follow that. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's very difficult to follow that. I love everything about it. I think Take a Pebble
Oh,
may be one of the highlights. And what I think is a little comical is that tune is credited to Greg Lake. But let's just be real. Greg Lake didn't write any of those piano arrangements and all that extended jam, right?
yes, exactly.
So I think people forget the importance of arrangement. This was a group arrangement, an ensemble playing. Greg Lake was a great balladeer. He wrote the basic chords and the vocal melody, but then Keith just took it into outer space, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Starting with those plucks, he's plucking the
Yes,
strings,
yes.
and oh yeah.
That is another song that I can tell you, playing that live and really taking chances and improvising and going into outer space like Keith did. That was an unreal experience as well. Take a Pebble, my God.
Oh God.
Beautiful.
I love
So,
that song so
it's
much.
it's 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 a great album. It's just a great album. The Bartok piece, everything in it, the three muses. It's
Yeah.
just so fucking good.
Yeah. I mean, Knife Edge is heavy.
Yes. Yes, and that's the other thing people do forget. They were just a three-piece.
Right. Yeah.
So Keith was doing a lot of the heavy lifting, And Carl Palmer was young and rambunctious, and he wasn't afraid to just play and
Yeah.
play.
Yes.
And we discussed it briefly in the other channel, and
Right.
I think they were fantastic. And Greg is just one of those gifted singers and
Yeah.
songwriters. So
Mhm.
and one hell of a bass player too. I don't want to put him down at all. I'm just saying I'm not a singer.
He had to sing too. Yeah, he had to
I
sing too.
have a voice for silent movies and a face for radio. So I, I don't have that frontman difficulty. So I can just really just play my bass. But he came up with some really great bass lines as well. I mean, it wasn't all just copying, but the left hand. But it was just a great band.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it continues with Tarkus, right? I mean, I think Tarkus is another, I mean, yeah, there has some moments that are maybe not as quite as high as the first, but
That
I
that
think
is
it's
true.
great.
I mean, Bitches Crystal, the Tarkus, the title, amazing.
Yeah.
ELP had this only one thing. For reasons that I don't understand, they started to throw in the jokey tune,
Yes. Yes. The jokey songs. Yep.
and
Yep.
they really are a distraction for me. I don't appreciate
Yeah.
them. I,
Right.
I maybe it was their attempt at being Monty Python, whatever. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I never cared for those tunes. But the thing about it though is the stuff that is good is so epic
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
that all I have to do in the CD age is just rip the CD and just skip that one.
Skip it. Yeah. Yeah.
and and
Yeah.
I'm left with a great album. So yeah,
Yeah, we're
masterpiece.
my theory on the jokey songs is that like I have two things about those. That one is that they wanted to be like, hey, we're not that pretentious, we're not that serious. Look, we're doing jokey songs. Look, see? And then
And
and then
I
second,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, it's like Jethro Tull. Jethro Tull did the same thing, right?
Right. Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like the hair that lost his spectacles. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's a way for Ian Anderson to say something dumb, mainly that yes, we don't really take ourselves that seriously. Let's just say this: you don't write music that complex and that wonderful and not take it seriously.
Yeah, come on. Exactly.
Ian Anderson is being very disingenuous there.
Right.
And
Right.
I think ELP were kind of guilty of that. Of course, they were pretentious. That was part of what made them awesome.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. And I think that my other theory is that they would, they'd be working so freaking hard on things like Tarkus, and they're busting their ass trying to learn this really complicated piece of music. And then they blow off steam by playing Are You Ready, Eddie, or whatever. And then they record it and they put it,
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? I'm just guessing.
Yes. So that is yeah. We will never know. Like I said, I never talked to them. I don't have any direct information.
Right.
We're just fans, running our mouths.
Yeah, we're just running our mouths. But I think that, Pictures at Exhibition is another killer, another like the live album.
Well, and that's the thing. There you start to see the magic of ELP. And I think Carl Palmer said this. A lot of people level criticism at them. I know
Mhm.
that John Peel said the first record was a waste of talent and electricity.
Right.
He has an insane review because he couldn't be more off target. But Carl Palmer said, yeah, we may be doing a lot of covers, but you have to have the talent of picking the right ones.
Right. Yep. Yep.
And Mussorgsky is not the first thing you think about when you think power trio.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So the fact that they did it so well, I think is amazing. And it's one of these Russian things, and it has all these mythical characters and the hut of Baba Yaga and all this stuff. It's great. It's Prague without the elves and the fairies. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I really dig it. And it's raw and it's live, like you said. So,
Yeah.
it's got a couple of clams, but so what?
Yeah, who
It was
cares, man?
awesome.
They're
So
mostly just ripping it the whole time. And what I forgot about, I listened to this recently. I hadn't listened to it in a really long time. I forgot the crowd just goes fucking ballistic at the end. Like,
yes.
oh,
Consider that there was a time when people in their early 20s would gather in large numbers to listen to this sort of music and really
yeah,
without phones, without screens, they were just digging it.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing, right? I mean, it's
yeah.
a different planet we live
Different
on now.
world, a different world. Now everyone's like doing this the whole concert. Like,
And
uh,
they're listening to music that is basically four beats and two notes, and that's it,
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah. It's we evolved or devolved. I don't know. But anyway, so into trilogy, another killer record, another killer album trilogy.
Endless Enigma,
Yeah. Come on.
the
Come on.
title track. I mean, they're all so good, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know what to say. It's
Yeah.
just knife's edge.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. You
Yep.
know, it's just so good.
Yeah.
So good.
I mean,
I
even the Greg, from the beginning, I think is great. Try. I mean, that's a Greg Lake, acoustic
Yes.
song,
Yes.
So,
Yes. I that's a great little ballad. They see that was the power of Greg Lake as well, right?
mhm. Yeah,
He came up with these acoustic guitar songs, and then the guys would just elevate them.
absolutely.
Fantastic. I mean, the songs were, you can't fake a good song. Like the songwriting was there. From
Yes. Yes.
And then they just the arrangements, right?
Right.
Took it to another level. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Arrangements just go. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. I
Yeah.
love that record.
And speaking of arrangements, I mean, this is just like holy. When you listen to this, you're like,
Okay,
damn.
that, my opinion, that's the pinnacle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Throwing out the jokey songs.
Top of the mountain. Top of the
Yeah.
mountain right here. Yep.
The title track. Well, not title track because that came later, but Carnival 9. See,
Right.
when I see that record, I always think of it as Carnival 9. I know it's called brain salad surgery, but I think of it as Carnival 9 because that is the ultimate Keith Emerson composition.
Yes.
It's
Yep.
and playing it live from beginning to end, all three parts, nonstop, was an ordeal, and it was absolutely amazing. So I it took a while to learn it, of course, and to really play it, the way I think it deserves. The second impression in particular is often ignored because it never got any radio airplay or nothing, but that is just so haunting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's so much fun to play live, and you really have to be listening, and the dynamics, everything about it is so hypnotic and so incredible. And then you get to the third impression. It's almost like the Daleks, the Doctor Who thing, and
Yes.
it's just
Yes.
angry and heavy. Eh, It's a masterpiece. It's
No,
it's
it is.
that is my favorite ELP album, and Carnival 9 is my favorite ELP composition.
Yeah. And
It's
Carnival
there's
9, I mean that I always forget about the ending part where he's talking to the computer or whatever, and I
yeah,
think there's a lot of drama there too. Like the whole everything's there. Everything's there.
yes. And that's the other thing. I mean, Emerson was experimenting around the same time as Pete Townsend with the first few synthesizers that were available. They were
Right.
really
Right.
learning to use the oscillators and the filters, and you know, um, it's just all these really innovative and unique sounds,
Right.
and being played in a way that I don't think the creators ever envisioned. I
That
don't
we're in
think
their
that.
infancy. We always forget these were in the infancy of it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And for Keith Emerson and people like him, we don't know that many, they were really an opportunity for creativity, for innovation.
Yeah.
It's amazing, just amazing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that is
Un-
a masterpiece of a record.
Unreal. So then they take a break after this. So they're on top of the world. I mean, they're really popular after this record, and they do an awesome tour, and people are like ELP crazy at this point. And then they kind of take a break. And they
Right.
take what 3 year break or 2 year break, something like that.
I mean, I don't know when Works came out, but
77.
Works was the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
was 73
Right.
and Works was 77. So 4 years,
77.
right?
Yep.
And in those 4 years, I mean, you can hear it in the live record, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
You start to hear the cocaine tempos,
Yes. Yes.
and
Absolutely.
the cocaine decisions are creeping in, and
Yeah.
you can hear the exhaustion, and I would imagine these guys were all very young. We forget that, right?
Right.
There
Right.
wasn't an awful lot of life experience to kind of steer them through. And people come and talk to you, and they tell you, "Hey, man, you don't really need those guys. You're the dude. You
Right.
do
Right.
this."
Yep.
And that's what you get in Works, right? They each get
Yes.
one
Yeah.
side.
Yep. Yep.
And
It's not the same. It's not the same.
not only is it not the same, is it really worthy of the title? If you're
Right.
doing solo stuff, why are you selling it as ELP?
Right. Yes.
And the stuff that they did together were kind of things that in many cases had been rejected from previous works.
Yep.
So why, if they were rejected before, why are they good now?
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
was to me that had more of a contractual obligation vibe than and an ego trip than a real. This is where we're at, and this is we want to be seen and to me. This is what it sounds like to me.
Yes. I agree. I
There
agree.
are great tracks on both works, Volume 1 and Volume 2, but it is definitely a step down.
Yeah,
There you go.
there's moments on this too, but it's not, it's yeah.
I forget what piece from that. I'm having a brain fart. As Chris Allo likes to say, I'm having a case of the olds. But soon after Keith died, there was a tribute concert at Reggie's here in Chicago, and
Mhm.
Mike Keeley came in to play, and we did like a jam in his honor. So Mike led it, and he played keyboards and guitar, and I played bass. Jonathan Shank played drums from District 97. Other people were there, and it was, I mean, it was a great night, and we played a track from that one. But I'm having a blank as to which one it was.
Oh, from volume two?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I remember it. Um, Shit, what is it? I think it was So Far to Fall,
Okay. Okay.
but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's
Wait, yeah, it's not the same, clearly.
it's yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same. Let's just say it's not the same. I mean, there's some I mean, there's some like you said, there's moments here and there, but it's not it feels like a drop off from brain cells, a big drop from brain salad surgery. You
And
know,
then
then we drop even further. And I don't even have it to show. That's I mean, there you go.
good. Um, when there was in the early 2000s, Carl Palmer played a show in Mexico, in Mexicali,
Mhm.
for Baja Prog. And Carl Palmer is quite fluent in Spanish, so he addressed the crowd in Spanish.
Mhm.
And he dressed down that record.
Okay. Okay.
He basically described it as in a very not politically correct way, as three non-homosexuals pretending to be homosexual
Wow.
because,
Wow.
because they thought that that would be a better way to sell the record, something like that.
Oh
And
my.
you know, it's already telling when all these years later, he's still
Still
hurt by it.
talking about it. Yeah. Yeah.
He feels the need to say, "Hey, this is clearly shit,
Right.
and
Right.
I know it." Like I
Yeah.
don't want you to think that I think this is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That struck me. That was very surprising to me because I would imagine, well, not imagine, it's unnecessary, first of all.
Right.
And
Right.
secondly, his name is on it forever.
It may be a tad defensive, you know. Yeah.
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 So, there was that. And is that record any good? Canarias,
Yeah. I mean,
maybe,
it's got moments again. Yeah.
but less moments.
Less moments though. Yeah. Yeah.
I think um this is where they basically really, really try to become more commercially successful. It's been a while since they were selling out stadiums and things.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And I'm sure they were still spending as if they had been filling out stadiums.
Exactly. Exactly.
So there was a lot of pressure.
And they saw Genesis do it, like with
Yes. So
hit on
they
the radio.
figured, I mean, Genesis was not quite there yet. I think Genesis
Right.
around that time was and then there were three era, I think.
Right. But that had Follow You, Follow Me on it, right? That was kind of a hit.
Right, right. Well, then
Yeah.
again, Genesis did have Phil Collins, who's a genius songwriter in that kind of
True.
arena, right?
True that. Yeah.
Keith Emerson was never that.
Right.
And, and surprisingly, neither was Greg Lake. Greg Lake was just a guy who could write really good ballads.
Yeah.
But like John Anderson, they were elevated by great musicians around them
Yes. Yes.
and
Exactly.
the
Right.
arrangements, right?
Right.
So they never had a Phil Collins who could deliver a finished product and it was already there,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it
True.
was going to be a hit because there was no other way. So, I think that they lost their way. Once they stopped making music they believed in,
Hmm.
and they started making music they thought was going to sell.
Yes. Yep.
That's I think where artists do their weakest work.
Yep.
If
Yeah.
if you forget who you are and you forget what got you there in the first place, which
Hmm.
is you believed in the stuff you were doing, right?
Right.
If
Right.
you subtract that element, I think it's not surprising that what we hear is how we react to it. It's empty, it's soulless.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't have the magic. It doesn't have a piece of them.
Yes.
And that and I think just the way that Carl talked about it at Baja says it all.
Oh God,
Like
it says it all.
nothing to do with it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's very sad, but a lot of bands from the prog days faced backlash, right? There was, people like to blame punk for the death of prog. I think that's horseshit. Punk is awesome.
Right.
Um, I
Right.
think prog is to blame for the death of prog, just like people like to blame, grunge for the death of hair metal.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
candy ass,
Yeah.
spandex, hairspray metal is the reason metal died.
Right. Right.
Grunge had nothing to do with it.
It might
It
have
was,
been already dying by the time grunge got around. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, metal was a titan.
Yeah.
They had everything on their favor,
Yeah.
and they blew it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear, oh, grunge. No, grunge just came back to basics.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
played dark, heavy Sabbath influenced stuff, Neil Young influenced stuff, and they did it great.
Right. Right.
End the debate.
Yeah.
They didn't. They weren't playing fucking cherry pie
Right.
and
Right.
all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think prog had the same fate. The punk guys couldn't hurt prog. The
Hmm.
prog guys hurt prog. They made themselves silly. They made themselves irrelevant.
Right. Right.
And I think because people like Emerson, Lake and Palmer didn't stick to their guns, they
Yes.
didn't say, we're
Yeah.
going to continue exactly where we were because we believe in this and this means something to me and it's from the heart,
Yep. Yep.
that they eventually disappeared.
Yep.
This is my
No,
theory, anyway.
I like it. No, I think it's true. I saw an interview with Keith later on, and he said something to the effect because they were like asking fans were asking questions. They were like pre-written questions or whatever. And one of the questions was, "Do you think you guys should have just what I can't remember what the exact question was. Something about maybe just skipped Love Beach and done something or whatever." And he starts talking about Love Beach, and he basically says, "Well, we really didn't have we should have had the power of our conviction. We should have gone out on tour on that album and stood behind it instead of just bailing on it." And he said
Right.
if we'd stood behind it and toured behind it, maybe people would look at it differently. And I thought that was interesting.
I think that is definitely true. But also, had they had the courage of their convictions, the question I ask myself is, would Love Beach be the album they would have made?
Right. Right. That's a good point. That's a great
So,
point.
so
Yeah.
those are the other two things. It's like
Yeah.
you're second guessing yourself in the making of it, and then
Yep.
you completely hamstring any hope of success by not even touring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, why they didn't tour, I don't know. Maybe demand was low.
Yep.
Maybe it was also part of the ego.
Yep.
Like last time I was in Chicago, I played Soldier Field. Why am I playing this little civic auditorium?
Exactly. Exactly. Right.
Like,
Yes.
why? Because you haven't done shit for 8 years, and the stuff you've done in between, no
It's
bueno.
not
That's
very
why.
good.
So, you got to start over to a degree, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. I think the rock star mentality is very toxic because you start to take it for granted. Not only do you take it for granted, you begin to act like it's an entitlement.
Yes. Yes. That
Like,
I
how
deserve
dare
it.
you
Yeah.
not give me all your money and just, whatever I do, you just need
Yeah.
to clap, right?
Everything should turn to gold. Everything I touch. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And it's like, no, actually, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
again, I don't know, but I don't hear Emerson, Lake and Palmer when I hear Love Beach. It's just I
Yeah.
bought it once because I didn't know. I didn't like the cover, but I thought it would be good.
Yeah.
And I immediately turned and sold it used, like
Yeah.
immediately, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing, I apparently Greg and Carl both left before it was over. Like they did the basic tracks and then kind of bailed and like left Keith with the album. So I mean, the whole thing was kind of, and then they were kind of talked into going into the studio by Ahmet Erdogan. Like go back into the studio, see what happens. Like they didn't want to do it. So there's just all these things about to make that album like not good.
but you see that's the problem of the ego of Works. You can already see at Works that they each thought they were the rocket sauce of ELP.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Yep.
And ELP was, I mean, let's just be frank, ELP was a tripod, but the
Hmm.
real visionary there was always Keith Emerson.
Right.
The main composer there was always Keith Emerson.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yeah.
these guys brought incredible singing and incredible pop sensibilities with Greg and some, spastic at times, but very, very explosive drumming.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
When you put all these things together, let's not forget, Greg Lake did not know how to read music. You,
Okay.
you, you, so and everything that Keith wrote was charted and scored. So
Right.
there are videos on YouTube for viewers who are interested where you can watch Keith painstakingly teach Greg bar by bar of Carnival 9.
Yes. Right. Right.
So this is what I
Yes.
mean. It's
Yes.
at some point, I'm sure they didn't like the idea that, okay, we got to go back to school again.
Yes. Right. Right.
Professor Emerson is in session, and now
Here we go again. Yep. Yep.
I have to learn all this shit. How about if we just do something that I like?
Yes.
After all,
Right.
I'm the reason it all sells anyway. So why are we doing all this other stuff?
Yeah.
Um, it's a big risk that bands take when they walk away from their best work.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword. You don't want to repeat yourself,
Right. Right.
but at the same time, you can't just completely bail.
Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, if you look at an artist of the stature of David Bowie, you can see that the guy kept sort of changing things around.
Right.
But at
Right.
the same time, there was a very, very clear, line that connected them all. Like it was his voice, it was his
Yeah.
melodic sensibility. Nothing ever did not sound like a Bowie tune.
Yes. Exactly. He went
It
through
just
ebbs
the
and flows.
arrangements were
Right.
different, the moods, the how it was dressed up and presented. It kept changing, it kept morphing, it kept evolving, going back, twisting, but it was always Bowie.
Yes.
Some
Yes.
of these ELP songs, they don't sound like ELP to me.
No, no, no.
You know,
True, true. That's so very true. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, I mean, and Bowie, Bowie went through ups and downs, but he stuck with it.
yeah.
He always stayed with it.
I remember when Earthling came out, he was playing a club where Sona Sombra could play.
Right, right. Yeah,
Like that was
yeah,
those were the dark days for Bowie, right?
yeah, yeah.
And he still did the tour.
He still did it. Yeah, he
And
still went.
Earthling, that's the difference between a true artist. Like Earthling, I think is one of his greatest records. The
Right.
Coast, I think it's a great record.
Yeah,
But at that time, people weren't having it.
yeah,
They were another thing. So
yeah,
whatever. But ELP really, it's sad when you think about it.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
It is kind of sad, and that's why I brought this up because I was thinking the same thing. It kind of made me a little bit sad the whole thing because so we went through some of the records. We've already hit some of the points that I brought up, but I'm going to bring up some points that I wrote down on a list for Lewis and I'm going to throw it at him. And
all
again,
right.
he's already answered some of this stuff. Some of this stuff is already answered, but from what he said already. But here are some of my theories on ELP. Okay, so I
Shoot.
have what happened to ELP. Number one, labeled as a supergroup as soon as they formed. Um,
You know,
you know,
here's my take on that. I think we could harken back to the, you know, that Scarface movie
right? Yes, yep,
where you're told the secret to the business is never get high on your own supply.
Right. Right.
So if they didn't believe their own hype, it doesn't matter what people label them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're doing music that they believe in, that they love, and they're leaving nothing in the tank. So as long as they keep doing that, you can
Right.
call it whatever you want, and it's going to be fantastic, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So I
Yep.
don't know if that was the case because they had an unbelievable 4 year run, right?
Yes, they did. They did. They did. So, and their first gig was Isle of Wight, which was a huge gig, and it had like instant success. But again, they earned that success by playing an awesome set.
And,
Uh,
also
you
they were
know,
lucky. I mean, Isle of Wight was a festival run by the Who. They were using the Who's PA.
right,
It was a perfect storm. And then had they sucked, it would have been terrible. Nobody would know about them. But they
right.
showed up and they delivered.
They killed it. They killed it.
Yeah.
So they
So
earned it.
fantastic, right? No complaints.
No, absolutely. They earned that. So, and I have three major talents in the band with tons to contribute, and maybe not enough room to. That's another idea that, again, we were touched on this a little bit. But I, like you're saying, Keith is really the driver. I mean, really, when it
Yes.
comes down to it.
And I would say that Carl, although he had been with Arthur Brown and all that, I think that he was the youngest
Right, right.
and he was never curbed.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't know that he ever felt restrained in ELP.
Right.
So I don't see why he would feel like he had more to give and wasn't being allowed. I think that whatever crazy drum part he wanted to play, it went on
He
tape.
played it. He played it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So as far as Keith goes, I mean, sorry, Carl, I don't know. Greg is a different story because Greg, maybe he had more pop sensibilities that he wanted to
Right.
explore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he sort of found himself after being in King Crimson kind of like, oh shit, I've been slagged by prog.
Right. Right.
I don't
Right.
know if he felt like that. I have no idea,
Knows.
but
But
you
yeah.
know,
But and that, I love your theory though of like, oh God, I got to go back to school. Like I got to go learn another Keith thing. Like I
yeah.
can see that being a
But
thing.
Greg Lake also had opportunities to just go full Phil Collins, and he didn't.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That
Like when
is
it was his first time to tour solo, who did he get on guitar?
Gary Moore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he got himself a deadly blues guitarist. And what did he play? He played a lot of ELP tunes.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Right. So,
Right.
I don't know. Again, I don't know why any of these guys would feel constrained.
Yeah.
I think the only constriction was that there was a clear boss.
Yes.
There
Yes.
was a clear
Right.
leader
Yeah.
created, right?
Yep. Yep. So the next point is they took a long break. We already talked about this. They took a long break after their biggest LP, brain salad surgery, for 3 years or whatever. So they had this momentum and they kind of
But
stopped.
again, what was the break about?
Right. I don't know.
Were they taking like a healthy vacation from each other, or were they pursuing solo interests?
Right. I don't. That's a good question. That I don't know.
It could have well been that all these chitter chatters in their ears were telling them things, and they decided to give it a shot to
Yep.
test the waters.
Yep.
And the compromise was, well, I guess I couldn't really write a whole album. Let's just do works. I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean,
No, that's a good. I like it. That's
I'm
true.
being very disparaging. I don't know if that was
Right.
a
Who
story, but I
knows?
would say
Right.
it's not unthinkable that that's the story.
No, I think that's very plausible. I think that's very plausible.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is they lost. They went on. They did the works volume one, volume two. Then they went on this massive tour, this kind of like sort of we're back tour, and Keith wanted to use an orchestra, which is because he had a concerto on the record. He wanted to play it live with a, and they lost a ton of money apparently on that tour because of the work.
Yes.
They had to carry a whole orchestra with them, and so yeah, so I think that also maybe caused a little bit of problem possibly by that
A
point. And
lot
then,
of problem.
who knows?
And Carl Palmer's gigantic metal drum kit that required
Yes,
an
yes,
to
yep,
carry. And
yep,
it was grandiose, but it was also silly.
yeah, yeah,
And it's one thing in today's world because they didn't bring an orchestra with them. In today's world, when bands play with orchestras, like the Who did for a couple of years, they would just get the orchestra whatever city they went to.
Right. Right. Exactly.
They had been previously rehearsed, and
Yeah.
they just showed up and did a little rehearsal in the morning, and they played with them, and they all got paid their union dues, and they're not bringing them with them.
Didn't bring them with. Yeah.
So
Right.
it's
Right.
a thrill for the orchestra because they get to perform in an arena full of people with a famous band,
Yeah, I'm sure they
and
loved it. Yeah.
it's not an incredible expense for the band.
Right. Hmm.
So it was just it was also the 70s, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
People did lots of stupid things in the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure it was, it was a cool idea. It was just an idea, and it was, let's do it. We've got the money, let's do it. And it just, anyway. Um, so then I have, they lost their mojo in quotes by the time they made Love Beach. Um,
Well,
so
I would say one thing, because we're forgetting that there was a brief interlude with Cozy Powell,
right, Emerson, Lake and Powell. Yep. Yep.
and I think that record had a lot of good stuff in it.
Actually pretty good. Yeah.
They went back to the original thing that they were all about, like grabbing classical pieces and making them into a rock trio.
Yeah.
And then Greg had Touch and Go.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
I think in many ways that was a great comeback for them, even though there was no Carl because he was doing Asia.
Right.
See, and that takes me to the other thing. I think at that point, a lot of these prog guys, they were just chasing money. The same thing that happened to Miles Davis. Miles Davis is saying, "Look, why am I starving?" And I'm looking at these pop guys, and they know less music than I already forgot.
Hmm.
And why don't I just grab some electric instruments and just do my thing and,
Yep.
and join the bandwagon and cash in?
Yeah.
I
Yep.
think that these guys were doing the same thing. I mean, Steve Howe and Carl Palmer, they're doing Asia. Uh,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know, they're all GTR. Remember that
Guitar.
fiasco?
Yeah. GTR. Yeah.
And a lot of these guys started to chase that kind of success.
When the heart rules the mind, or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And they didn't understand that even the guys who made bank by writing hits can't keep writing them.
Yeah.
McCartney is not like he can just wake up in the morning and it's a number one and a number one. Not even he
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. And
It is.
the entitlement thing that we were talking about before, I think is important. They were trying to be something they never were.
Right.
And and I think they thought it would be easier. And they did get some success, like Heat of the Moment and so forth. It was successful. Not
Right.
my cup of tea.
Not
It's
my
not
thing,
something
but yeah.
I don't want to hear it, but
Right.
I understand that it did well, but that was also unsustainable, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yep.
this is what happened, I think. I think that, ELP sort of had a moment with Powell, then Powell left for whatever reasons. I don't know the details, but that's a great record. I
And
like that.
I mean, the score is fantastic. Like, the score is like the best thing they had
Yes.
done in years.
The only weakness for that record, in my view, is that, and this was true of a lot of the prog guys, in the 80s, they really turned on the Velveeta when it comes to the choice of their keyboard patches.
Exactly right.
It's like Keith
Yeah.
Emerson, dude, you're a pianist.
Yes.
Your Hammond organ is
Go
legendary,
back to the Hammond, dude. Yeah.
and your Moog sounds are
Right.
deadly. What the
Yeah.
fuck are you doing playing Yamaha presets? Like,
Yeah.
seriously,
It's
you
true.
know,
It's true.
so I think had that record been recorded with the vintage keyboard sounds,
Right. Yeah.
we
It
would
would
have
have
a very different opinion of it.
it would have been even better. Yeah, exactly.
I have no doubt it would have been.
Yeah.
This is a record that was hampered by its era, by
Yeah.
the production values of its time, by
Yeah.
drum gates, by everything horrid that made the 80s questionable in my mind.
Right.
And it made Keith moved away from where his kung fu is deep.
Right. Right.
And he
Yeah.
started playing these lame, limp-wristed patches that just don't really work.
Yamaha patches. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. And then I mean it gets worse on this. I think the
Oh,
keyboard sounds.
yes. By that
Yeah.
point, it's like they are now so committed to trying to catch that gravy train.
Right. Right.
They can't even,
Yeah.
it seems to me they can't even hear what the fuck they're doing.
It's
Because,
true.
everybody is a yes man, right? Everybody
Yeah.
wants a piece of the pie. So
Right.
nobody's going to tell you that what you're doing is shit. They're all hoping it's going to be good.
Yeah.
They're all
Yeah.
hoping they're going to get some royalties from some perfunctory co-producer thing they're doing.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it to work. Nobody is willing to do the hard thing, which is tell them this is no good,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No one's telling
What
them
happened?
no. Yeah.
Like, imagine your 20-year-old self listening to you in your 40s
Yeah.
making this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would what would be your first? What would you tell your 40-year-old self as a 20-year-old if you hear this music? This is what I would like to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because yes, like we said earlier, you don't want to repeat yourself, but you also don't want to stop doing what made you great in the first place, which was innovation, which was
Yes. Yes.
that combination of rock and symphonic music,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
is, I mean, Black Moon, where is that?
Black Moon is just like, yeah, I don't know it's weird. It's a weird record.
It's not weird. It's a shit record. Let's just say it.
Just say it, man. Just say it.
It's garbage. There's no
Yeah.
reason why. I mean, I commend you for having it because it's good to have a prop, but
Right.
I'll never buy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously, it's just
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah. It's not, I never listened to it. I never listened to it.
And then the other one, the one that sort of inadvertently named in the prog, in the prog seat,
Right.
in the hot seat.
That's
Why is
really
the seat
bad.
hot? Because
Yeah.
you've been sitting in the throne and you can't shit. Like, what happened?
That is total shit. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like it's just
Yeah.
I think it's an enigma to me
Yeah.
because what happened later when Keith Emerson years later formed his own band?
Mm.
He went back to trying the experimentation. He went back to the long form composition. He
Right.
went back to doing what made him excellent.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
And with Bonilla in the band, I mean, those two guys were, and then he had this amazing rhythm section, these young guys.
Right. Yeah.
I saw them live at Nearfest, and man, they were so good.
Oh, were they? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and Bonilla has a voice with a timbre similar to Greg Lake's.
Hmm.
I know that the diehard fans are going to crucify me for suggesting anybody could match the great Greg Lake.
Right.
I'm
Right.
saying he was really good, and he still is.
Yeah.
And he plays a mean left-handed guitar. He got great guitar solos, great
Nice.
chops. I mean, it was a killer band.
Nice. Yeah.
So, it was suddenly ELP with an actual guitar player. Again, it sounds like I'm picking on Greg Lake. I'm not. I'm just
Right.
saying,
I know.
Lake
I know.
was an amazing bass player, an incredible singer, first and foremost, a
Right.
writer of great ballads. He could strum a mean acoustic guitar. He could play bass. That's it. He was
Yeah.
not an electric guitarist.
Right.
And nobody can really defend
No,
his.
no one will debate that. Right. Right.
So suddenly now you add that element to Keith Emerson's music. It makes you wonder what would have happened if that rumor had come true that Hendrix was going to join them.
Yeah. Help. Help.
No. So again,
Yeah.
the possibilities were sort of answered with Bonilla.
Hmm.
I'm not comparing Bonilla to Hendrix, entirely
Right.
different. But the idea of actually bringing top level guitar playing to Keith Emerson's musical mind.
Well, it's interesting, Lewis, because it wasn't, I mean, I was listening to the Nice not too long ago, and in the Nice, Davey O. List was the guitar player. He wasn't bad. He was pretty
Oh
good.
no, good, yes.
That you kind of get a taste of that, like he's playing with Davey, and it's like you're like kind of you get a little guitar action in there. It's interesting. Anyway, just
Yeah,
side note.
yeah.
So
So what happened to them? I mean, probably what happens to so many bands, right? They're a victim of their own success.
yeah, I think so too. I think that was a lot of it too. Yeah.
They're young humans. They're surrounded by older people with ambitions who don't give a single fuck about them.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
they lead them astray in an effort to just milk and they don't care if they end up killing the cash cow because they're just looking for this. I have an opportunity now to grab this money now, and that's what I'm going to do.
Quick payday. Yep. Yep.
So I would imagine that that certainly played a key role, if nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I commend Carl Palmer for continuing the legacy.
Right. Right.
Got a great band with Paul and guitar and why am I forgetting the bass player's name? Jesus Christ, I'm sorry, dude. He's a great guy, by the way. I love him. But very friendly. I always enjoy when I meet him. But you know, it's great that he does it. It's great that he understands that the days of playing stadiums are long gone.
Yeah.
It took
Yeah.
him a while to get there, but
Took him a minute. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Right.
and um and now as an older man, I think I would like to think he's found some peace.
Yeah. I think he has.
And he's just doing the music justice. And he's also keeping it different by having the guitar element instead of keyboards.
Right.
That gives it a
Right.
spin. And I think Paul is a great guy for that. I mean, Paul is a monster player. So, you know, what they do in in the Carl Palmer ELP legacy thing is uncanny. Really, it's just great.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I keep going back to the to Keith Emerson's. If I may tell a story, just it
Sure.
may
Go ahead.
interest you friends. Andre told me this story, um, and I hope I'm not embellishing it or telling it wrong in any way, but this is the gist of it. As you know, Keith was dating a Japanese woman that was significantly younger than him,
Hmm.
and he apparently genuinely loved her. And early on, things were going well, but then one day she sort of told him, you know, I don't think this is going to work. And he was freaked out by this. Like, what do you mean it's not going to work? No, no, you know, it's like you're great, you're great. You know, everything's fine, but you're a little boring.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you're old. You just like to stay in the house, and yes, it's fine being in the house, but I also like to have fun.
Right. Right.
And you know, basically, Keith said to her, "Look, you know, what do I have to do? Like, let's do something you like."
Right.
And so what happened was that she said, "Look, I love, you know, karaoke."
Okay.
So, and they were in Japan. So Keith said, "Yeah, we can do this
Sure.
wherever, whatever city. I forget the city. So again, if I get details wrong, I'm sorry. But so they go to this karaoke, and she's having the time of her life. And then it's Keith's turn to take the mic, and he's walking toward the front, and there's all these like the working men of Japan, right?
Hmm.
These like sour looking business guys with suits and drinking
They
whiskey.
had a long day at work and they're drinking and
Yeah.
yeah.
And he's thinking, well, you know, nobody here knows who I am. It doesn't matter if I suck, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he gets up to the thing and he's given a choice of songs. And one of the choices is Welcome Back, My Friends.
Oh, wow. All right.
So he decides to choose that. And then as Andre told me the story, it starts and you know it has that long instrumental intro and all that. And suddenly Keith starts to remember a lot of things that Greg would tell him. He's like, man, this tempo is too fast. Man,
Right.
this key is too hard to sing on.
Right.
Like, man, what are you doing? You're killing me. And, you know, because he was just playing the piano, he was a wizard. He didn't give a shit. But
Right.
when it was time for him to sing it,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
suddenly he suddenly was like, oh, wait a minute. I don't know if I can hit these notes in this key. Oh
Yeah.
shit, it is fast, isn't it? Like he was suddenly things that he thought were an annoyance from Greg Lake, they were all coming right back
Coming
to haunt
back to him.
him,
Yes.
bite him in the ass. And he did the best he could. His girlfriend thought it was amazing,
Mhm.
and he's just walking back, and he is he's walking back, and this one guy, the drinking people, said to him, that sucked.
Oh, jeez.
And one of the other guys said to him, he knows, he wrote it.
Oh, wow.
So the whole thing that he was incognito,
Oh my
no, it's
God.
just Japanese people are very polite.
They just all knew. They all knew it was him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. What a story, man. You know, they're a great band. They still have a legacy. They still, and after Greg passed away, I was like, man, I'm so sad. Like, I just was so sad that Keith and Greg were both gone because they created such magic together, you know?
Yes. And this is what I liked about the show. In a way, I viewed it as a kind of a love letter to that music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if that music hadn't been so meaningful, nobody would care what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Right.
Like,
I'm doing this because I care, people. I care.
that's right.
Yeah.
So, so I was really excited when you invited me to do this because I love ELP.
Yeah.
I don't love it as much as Ken Golden does,
Right. Right.
but I
I don't think
love it.
anyone does. Yeah.
I don't love it in a way that requires a restraining order.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Understood. So, Lewis, this has been great, man. Thank you so much for
Thank you for
joining.
having me. I had a lot of fun. This is great,
Yeah.
and you can count me in for anything like this ever again. I would love to do it. So
Sweet, man. I'll definitely, let's do it again. It'll be fun. If it's going to be this fun every time, we're doing it again.
there you go.
Yep.
Now,
So
now we just have to make sure it is.
that's right. Absolutely. So that's it, people. What do you think? Let us know what you think. What do you think of ELP? What's your theories on what do you think about ELP? Just give us a general feeling of what's your
Right.
ELP story. I want to know.
Yeah,
I
what
read
was your
the comments.
connection to that music, if any, right?
Yeah.
What stopped you from exploring it, if something did?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the good news is if you were never into it, I envy you because now you have a chance for something that I won't have again, which is a first impression.
Right.
You
Right.
can go back and you can hear these records for the first time and maybe discover a new favorite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you'll discover that you hate it. Then we can't exactly be friends necessarily, but that's okay. But who knows? Maybe you'll discover something beautiful. This is how I view it. It's just beautiful.
Absolutely. No, so go listen to if you're familiar with ELP, go listen to them. If you're not familiar with them, go listen to them. So that's just the same assignment. So anyway,
Fantastic.
thanks again, Lewis. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you guys. If you're with us this long, you must be a big ELP fan. So thank you for sticking with us. Give it a like and subscribe if you like what you see. I always have to say that, just hit second to hit the subscribe button, helps the channel. So
Much
just
like
below. So that's it. So thanks everybody. We'll see you next time on Curlis Mania. Later.
yours.